Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us today for our very first monthly Peek Under the Umbrella. I am AJ Locashio, founder and executive director of Umbrella Alliance US. I am a white, genderqueer, femme presenting person with black hair, a white streak in front, glasses, and a sleeveless orange shirt. I am joined today by Sarah Phelps and Ben VanHook. They will each be joining us. But first, I want to share why we started A Peek Under the Umbrella, and then we'll get into our formal introductions and all of that. So at Umbrella, community is our number one. This is the first priority. It's the whole reason why we're here. I founded Umbrella because community care is my main priority. And having that conversation so many times, you finally kind of get pushed to do something. And here we are. So Umbrella Alliance US is here for that, for community. It's really important to us that we keep you up to date so that you know what we are doing every month. What is happening? What's going on under the umbrella? What are we doing? What are we talking about? What projects are we working on? What kind of progress are we making on those projects? And we also want to give you plenty of opportunities to communicate with us as well. So here is this live event that we're going to do every month to do that. Here's what you can expect during these community updates. We will let you know current topics of interest, for example, concerns that have long-term consequences for us at Umbrella Alliance US. Community concerns that you have brought to our attention and said, hey, this is something that is important to the community and we want you to address and talk about. Community events or happenings that have been shared with us. So for example, let's say you have an event that is happening in your area and you share that with us. That's something that we would love to share as well. Again, we're going to be sharing progress on goals, implementation of our strategic plan, and other announcements, lots of celebrations, FYIs that we have. So that's just kind of a really small, in a nutshell, what is a peek under the umbrella. So tonight, what you can expect is some celebrations and announcements, hey, initiatives in focus, a Q&A, and then and a couple action items and a closing. That's what you can expect during this event tonight. So let's get that started. Yay, so exciting. So let's start with announcements. In April, Umbrella Alliance US became a registered 501c3 nonprofit organization. Maybe one of the proudest moments in my life, honestly. Yeah, not even maybe, definitely one of the proudest moments of my life. We began searching for just the right person to lead our board, someone who we knew would help us meet and, dare I say, exceed our goals. Today, I am beyond proud and excited that Sarah Phelps has joined Umbrella Alliance US as our national board chair. Sarah brings a wealth of knowledge gained over years of experience as a board founder, having served on 10 founding boards to date. Sarah, your work in diversity, equity, and belonging, specifically with ND folks and the queer and BIPOC communities, is fundamentally important to the sustainability of our organization. So I am going to hand this over to Sarah now. We're so happy to have you with us.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor to be here. For those who may not be able to see me, I am a curly-headed, glasses-wearing fat lady from Nebraska. I have pink skin and curly brown hair. I identify as avrosexual, and I present as femme. I am beyond excited to join this organization because I know and know so many neurodiverse folks and am myself a neurodiverse person. I think my understanding of what neurodiversity is has expanded greatly in the last couple of years. Obviously, like many people, I really thought neurodiversity was just, autism, ADHD, things that are big diagnoses and big words that you take medicine for. But the truth is that there are a lot of cognitive conditions. There are a lot of things that are included in neurodiversity. I myself have still got COVID brain fog, so my brain does work a little bit differently now. And all of these things combine to create a sort of confusing and amorphous group of people that still need to be served, that still need to be empowered, even if folks are having trouble defining it. As such, I also want to address something that's very important to us as an organization, and that is our focus on the queer and BIPOC marginalizations within the neurodiverse community. The neurodiverse community as a whole lives in sort of silent marginalization, where people that have barriers built into systems that make it difficult to thrive. It's difficult to grow. It's difficult to achieve. But there are also intersections within our community that are super marginalized. And those intersections are queer and BIPOC folks. Umbrella Alliance US is here to support every single human being within the neurodiverse community, every individual, but we have to recognize that BIPOC folks, LGBTQ folks who are also neurodiverse are at more physical and emotional risk. It is more difficult for those folks to thrive. This is a lift moment for our community. We have to support these Black or Latina or Asian, transgender, bisexual, lesbian, all of those things. We have to support these folks. We have to lift them out of danger and into possibility. This has to be our number one priority, because if we don't advance together, we're not advancing at all. And I just want to be sure that folks understand that this is not me saying certain folks are getting a bigger piece of the pie. There is no pie. There is no scarcity here. We are simply saying that our care has to, at the moment, focus on the folks who are most at risk, because we have the power to help, right? So I'm really honored to help work on those goals. I'm really honored to help work on this board and with a spectacular staff that is already in place. To that moment, we have VanHook here. Ben has graciously accepted a position as a community education manager. And the reason that I think this is important is, liaison, is because Ben has a real heart for this work, a real talent for it. This is a person who has given and given and given. And I want to make sure that, as with any role in our organization, that we are fully supporting him and fully helping him by using the strengths he has, of course, but also helping him develop professionally in any way that he wants to. And to be honest, he's great with people. He's great with academia. And I'm so honored that he is going to take over this role. So without further ado, the spectacular Ben VanHook.
Yes, thank you for that lovely introduction, Sarah. I really appreciate it. And it's an honor to work with Umbrella Alliance and be able to help out with our mission. So as Sarah mentioned, my name is Ben VanHook. I'm an Asian American young adult. I'm currently wearing a red, white, and blue plaid shirt. Having previously served as the project manager of Umbrella's ND23 project, I'm excited to announce that I've transitioned roles and am now our Community Education Liaison, tasked with coordination and communication over different community resources and the organization of various panels, including an upcoming panel surrounding grief, which is on August 24th. Umbrella Alliance is very important to me because it symbolizes a bridge between the neurotypical and neurodivergent communities. And it represents a pathway forwards where we can work together hand in hand as self-advocates and allies to create a more neuro-inclusive and neuro-accessible world. Only through working together, listening to each other, and supporting one another can we begin to thrive as a global community that is inclusive of all neurotypes. Umbrella represents the bringing together of all neurotypes in a judgment-free space in which we can create tangible change and community through open and honest discussion and dialogue. Umbrella has a progressive vision of inclusion in which all neurotypes of every intersection, from race to gender to age to religion to backgrounds and cultures, can be represented and are represented and included in conversations that span all realms of life and society. With that, I'll pass it back over to Sarah.
Oh, I'm going to unmute your mic, Sarah.
The absolute worst thing you can do on a live. That happened. No, I would probably pass it back on to AJ. I just want to say that as folks are listening to this, if you have in your mind something that's just absolutely vital to you as an ND person or as an ND ally, we'd love to hear it. Feel free to reach out to any one of us with questions, with concerns, with great ideas, because your ideas are absolutely worth it. So I'm going to hand it back over to AJ, and she's got a few things to address.
I do. Thank you so much, Sarah. Yes, it doesn't matter what platform you are listening to this on. You can respond in comments. It doesn't matter if you are listening to this right now live or if you are listening to it later on down the road when you have some free time in your day and maybe you didn't have an opportunity to listen to this live. Go ahead and respond in comments. That will get to us. Also, you can go on our website and respond in comments on there. I will be putting those links in all of the platforms, and I will be putting them up on screen here shortly. So thank you for that reminder, Sarah. All right, let's get into a little bit of the projects and the initiatives that we're doing, because that's really what people want to know about. That's really why you are here and what you really want to see. You know, what is the work that we're doing? We're not just sitting here on our hands having discussions. We have been since April really working hard on the ND23 project. We spent several months in with members of the community to identify community needs and wants. This isn't for us to decide. We don't get to decide what people want. We get to listen and provide a platform for people to have conversations so that we can then take action on what the community really wants and what people are saying, this is what I need and this is where we need support, or this is where I can give and what I can do. So that's what we've been doing. And we are so thankful for the time, effort, and energy that everybody has already put in to have these conversations, to participate in these listening sessions that we have had. And over a period of those 3 listening sessions, it became very clear very quickly that self-advocacy is the main topic of interest. And that is where our highest focus for ND23 should be. So when we are looking at advocacy, advocacy work is representing and speaking for or about others, whereas self-advocacy is representing and speaking for ourselves. And And so many of our community members said, I'm tired of other people speaking for me and about me. And I am ready to speak for myself and about myself, but I don't have the skills to do that because, and then there are 15 different reasons why. And some of those reasons are personal, internal reasons. A lot of those reasons are external reasons. And regardless of the reason, people have the right to speak for themselves, to take up space and to say, this is what I want, this is what I need. And they're telling us, and I feel this as an ND person myself, and every other ND person I've ever spoken with, even people who are great self advocates, have said, I could use some support in this area, even if that support is just community with other self advocates, because it can become very lonely very quickly, and very isolating. And we need less isolation for our community members, not more of it. So this is our major initiative that we are focused on, is this self-advocacy piece, where we are able to speak for ourselves instead of having others speak for us. We have the feeling of safety that we can speak for ourselves, that we can speak up safely without losing something by doing that. And also that we have the skills in place so that we are heard and that we actually get what we need and we get what we want. Um, so, as a community led effort, NDs are part of every conversation and every decision that we make from beginning to end. It's not about other people representing you or speaking for you. It's about being part of that conversation and learning as you go, becoming empowered. Right? Sarah, this is something that we've talked about. Ben, this is something we've talked about, becoming empowered to take those steps with the support that you need to do so. And we all need support sometimes. It doesn't matter who you are. We all need support sometimes. So this isn't to say that we're not going to collaborate with others. Of course, we want to work with our allies and we want to work with parents and we want to work with caregivers and we want to work with all of the community members and organizations who want to work with us in partnership. But we want to be part of it, not an afterthought or not a nice, cool thing to do for publicity. We want to be there in the midst of all of the work. Only we are able to adequately engage our own community in meaningful and purposeful conversations. We invite our advocates and allies to join us in these conversations, but don't have them for us. We should be at the front of conversations meant to educate and inform. We are the ones who point out bias and misinformation that is shared often by well intentioned folks, but those folks are also often uninformed. So, coming together, NDs from a variety of backgrounds and intersections, this being our number one priority, is paying attention to the various intersections that are represented within our community, because there are many of us. It's not just one. You can't, you know what they say, you don't meet just one person and then that person represents all of us. We are each individual and unique based on our individual experiences that we have had as human beings. So, looking at those intersections and coming together, we can challenge perspectives. We can promote growth and sustainability within our community as we create the stable foundation for ourselves and for future ND self advocates to continue the work that our trans, queer, and BIPOC ancestors began years and years ago. So, with all this in mind, we will prioritize community engagement, education, and access. Education surrounding the inequities in care for our marginalized communities. Again, as Sarah said, this is up at the top of the list. In focusing on that, we are able to take care of all of us. But if we focus on some of us and we leave out our marginalized community members, they don't get the care that they deserve, that they need. Focusing on these marginalized communities, our trans, our queer, and our BIPOC community members, we do take care of every single person in our community. Every single person gets the care that they deserve. Community care is where it's at. So not only are we focusing on engagement and education, we are also focusing on increased access to ND created, approved, and affirming resources. Keyword there being ND created. This isn't about other people doing it for us. This is about us being there and being part of the process from beginning to end. So with that being said, the 3 initiatives that are happening within ND23 are the Self-Advocacy Survival Guide. This is so exciting. I am almost a little bit speechless. I'm so excited about it because this is what, in those listening sessions, this is what people said they wanted. They said, we want resources that help us self-advocate. This is the foundational resource for that, and it's where everything is starting. So we've got that coming out in 2024. However, you will be seeing bits and pieces of that starting to roll out as time goes on. You're not going to have to wait until the end to see things. Every month, we're going to be here giving you a peek under the umbrella. We're going to be rolling stuff out. So make sure that you're paying attention to that and you're following us so that you can stay informed on all of those goodies that are going to happen. The second piece of that are things like this, public and live events. More and more, we want to do public and live events where we are communicating and engaging with all of our community members. So let us know. Let us know in the comments. What do you want to see? It's not about us and what we decide people need. We are listening and we want to give you what you are asking for and what you need. And then the third, this is so exciting too. The third is reimagining work. Notice work is in quotation marks here because we are truly reimagining work and the strengths-based approach to it. This is a big research project that is completely led and inclusive of neurodivergent people. This is one of our ND community members who came and said, let's do this thing. So how exciting is that, right? This is not researchers speaking for us and about us. This is an ND researcher working with ND folks to have this conversation. So those 3 things we'll be telling you more and more and more about, and you'll be able to find that information on we've got several pages on our website. So on the projects page, umbrellaallianceus.org/projects, you will be able to see updates on all of this information as it rolls out, as well as during these events. We also have our events calendar, which is umbrellaallianceus.org/events. You can find that on the .org site as well. So every one of our events will be on that calendar, which you can subscribe to. So that is it's just so exciting. But we can't do it alone, right, Ben? Right? Like we can't do it alone. I'm so excited to have Ben and Sarah here because having the 3 of us and not just having one person speaking, I think is crucial. Again, having that conversation about what is community. We can't do this alone. We have to have community. We can't share your voice without you sharing your voice with us. So we're inviting you to share your voice, to participate, to take action in ways that that work for you. Multiple opportunities to do so. You can share resources. You can share your story and experience. You can volunteer. You can donate. All of these options are on our website, on that projects page. I'll put that up again, umbrellaallianceus.org/projects. All of these options are on there, and it explains a little bit about what they are, but I'll give you just a little taste. So sharing resources. This is anything, right? Anything. None of us are able to read every single post, to look at every single piece of art, to see the immense wealth of information and knowledge and sharing and experiences out there of all of the NDs across the world. So we have created a form where people can submit that information, and we will be sharing that. So you can submit articles, social profiles, research, videos, art, quotes, podcasts, grant opportunities, your own things, right? You are doing amazing things in the community. Here's where you can share that with us so that we can share that out. Then there is people, right? We need to know what people are doing. What are other ND self advocates doing? Allies, experts. Share your story, share your experience. One of the things that we're going to be doing in the self advocacy survival guide is sharing real people's stories, real people's experiences. And we invite you to click on the link and say, I want to share mine. We've got the resource forms on the website. We've got the application forms for you to come on and share. And it's not just for that book. It's for panel events. It's for webinars. It's for courses. It's for coming on live. It's for all of the different ways that we can share and shout you out for the amazing things that you're doing as NDs in the community. We will help you and support you along the way. If this is the first time and you've not done that before, you're not alone in that. Let us help you. We definitely want to do that and highlight you. So don't be shy to go in there and put your information on that form so that we can get in touch. I know Ben's just itching to have more work to do. Of course, volunteering. We have two amazing volunteer coordinators who are, Ruth and Vanessa, have been working diligently to get our onboarding processes started and going. And that is also where you will find Angela Loynd, for those of you who are watching. She's been working in that space as well with Ruth and Vanessa on that process. So if you're looking to volunteer and you're wondering what that might look like, please go ahead, submit that form. If we reach out to you and you're not ready to do it, you can always say no, but you can never say yes if you don't do it to begin with, to let us know that you're interested. And then finally, of course, one of the biggest, most important things that any charitable organization has is donations. And we do have that option as well on there to donate. And you can ask us questions, let us know if you have questions, concerns about that and what that process looks like. So that is on the Take Action page. You can find the same information actually on the projects page, umbrellaallianceus.org/take action. So each month we're going to come back here. Each month we're going to come back. We're going to give you updates. It might not be the three of us, but I will be here each month. I'm stepping out. I'm getting my face out there. A lot of you have seen me behind the scenes, but here I am front and center. I'm not back behind the camera doing the tech stuff today. I'm here and I'm talking. Which all of my friends and family would say, well, yeah, duh, of course she is. That's what they do all the time. I do like to talk, y'all. I do. It's okay. So we will be back here having conversations, taking a peek under the umbrella, because that's a fun thing to do. And I seriously look forward to sharing updates next month with our progress. We're not done though. I think Sarah might have some questions. Some of our viewers might have some questions. I see a couple of comments in there I haven't been able to look at while I'm talking. Ben might have some questions, but let's jump into the Q&A.
So it looks like Megan actually wanted to verify where the take action is on the site. Megan, did you have any luck finding the take action page?
I can absolutely share my screen.
Okay, great.
I will share my screen here. Let me take this banner off first.
And while you are queuing that up, I just want to remind folks that one of the important things that we think about a lot is ND joy. How are you actually enjoying your life? How are you actually happy? Because that's what the point is, right? So here's AJ's screen.
It is. Ignore the stuff up here at the very tip top because it takes me in through the back. Just that one little line right there on the top, you won't see that. Everything below that you will see. So when you go to the home page, you just go to the Take Action button in the navigation menu. On your phone, it's going to be 3 little lines on the right-hand side, and you click those 3 little lines, and it'll bring down the navigation menu for you to see. And you click on that Take Action page, and that pulls up the options of how you can participate. And you can just click on the text headings under the images, and it will take you to the form, the appropriate form that you need for whichever action you want to take. And yes, it is okay to do more than one of those. If you're not sure, just go ahead and go to that contact page, contact us. That will send us a message so that we can help support you in whatever way you need to be supported. The ND23 project page is the same. Just click on that in the navigation menu, and that page has our information that we have actually shared out today. And then the events page as well, which has our calendar on it, which you can subscribe to.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. Megan, I will keep an eye on you in the chat to make sure that we get you. It is possible that you might need to clear the cookie cache, the cache on your browser before things will click up. You might just be full. You might just be full. While we are navigating and talking about all the awesome things we can contribute, AJ, I have a question for you about sort of your why. How does your heart express itself in this work? Why the neurodiverse community specifically for you?
Well, I will try not to take up an hour here. I was diagnosed ADHD about 25 years ago, which was not common for a femme presenting individual at that time. So not only have I always been questioning as a queer person my sexuality and who I am in that area of life, I recognize that ties directly into my neurodivergence. And getting diagnosed ADHD led me into changing my career path and going into teaching because I wanted kids to have an experience different than I did. I didn't want them to be bored in school. I didn't want them to hate school, regardless of what their perceived abilities were. I wanted them to just be able to be curious and to explore without every aspect of their life, right? Be curious and explore every aspect of their life without shame. And going into education took me down this road, exploring my sexuality and my gender more and more. All of it just kind of came together. I became a certified sexologist and really was focusing on sensory processing and how stress, specifically minority stress, specifically working with the queer and transgender communities. Um, there was so much stress happening that it was getting in the way of people's relationships. And something that I noticed during these conversations that I was having with people, which started with teachers and then moved out into a whole different career field, these conversations led to a direct correlation between all of this: the stress, how our brains process the world around us, as well as our sexuality. And I just started studying and looking at things and immersing myself in this community and trying to understand. And what I realized in that was I love education and I love coaching and I love working directly with people, but there was a need for my skills in the community. And so I had the opportunity as a military spouse to jump at that and immerse myself into being able to provide a platform. I don't want to be, you've heard me say this, and I know you're like, yes, you're doing it, you're out there. I don't want to be the face of Umbrella Alliance US. Not because I'm not proud, not because I'm not capable, but it's not about me. It's not about me at all. It is about it's about all of us, but something that I saw along the way through 20 years of working in schools and then working with the trans and queer communities was so much injustice for the trans, queer, and BIPOC communities. And it's nowhere bigger than it is within the ND movement as it is happening right now. And there might be people listening who don't love what I'm going to say. And that's okay. I'm happy to engage in the conversation. But this is not a movement of 40-plus-year-old white women. Although many, many 40-plus-year-old female presenting individuals have access to LinkedIn Premium and have access to time and resources to be able to engage in the conversation, this is not our movement. It is our time to provide a platform and to provide resources that we have for members of our community to be able to have the access that we have the privilege of having already. Ben, I'm not sure if you were moving your hand to say something, but I absolutely welcome anything you have to say.
Thank you. I just had a question, and it kind of relates to what you're talking about. You know, intersectionality is a huge core of our identity and a huge part of who Umbrella Alliance is. And I was wondering if you wanted to discuss some specific initiatives we have in place at Umbrella to address and embrace different intersectionalities, and what initiatives we have to truly empower different communities, whether they're part of the LGBTQIA plus community or the BIPOC community or the Asian American community or any other marginalized group. And I was wondering if you wanted to discuss our plans for turning these words and thoughts we have about embracing intersectionality into action.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ben. Number one, this is part of every single conversation. We do not have a conversation without talking about what we were just talking about. That word intersectionality comes up all the time, not because it's something that is thrown around and it's a fancy word that we're supposed to be using and that we don't even understand, but we're using it anyway for DEI purposes. No, we are listening to our community members, and we are very specifically asking people and inviting people to come on board and to share and to say, this is what I need. This is what isn't there. How can I participate so that it can be? Not when I'm going to specifically talk about the self-advocacy survival guide here for just a minute, because Ben, that name actually came directly from you, right? You're like, how about the self-advocacy survival guide? This is really what we need. And we cannot have that without a huge piece of that being specifically, number one, talking about educating and informing people of what intersectionality is, what it really is, not as a DEI initiative, but what intersectionality really is and what it means to our community members. So that's part of all three of those initiatives that we talked about. Um, for example, when Michelle and I were talking about the research project and we talked about reimagining work, work does not look the same to me in the experiences that I have as it does to you and the experiences that you have because we experience different intersections. And that has to be part of that research project. We cannot do that research project without talking about the intersections of ND. We can't write the book without including all of the intersections of ND. And on our panel events, we are very aware. We do not want our panels to be a bunch of 40-plus-year-old white women on every single panel thinking that we have all of the answers for everybody in our community because we don't. We don't understand. We don't have the experiences. All we have is privilege to be able to provide a space and an opportunity for somebody else to come on and share their real experiences that haven't been heard before. I got a little emotional about that. So I hope I answered your question.
That was an awesome answer. And I promise everyone listening that at every time there's a juncture, we're thinking about it. How do we consider the needs of BIPOC folks? How do we consider the needs of queer folks? I wanted to talk a little bit about community care. We talk about self-care too much, because if you're already exhausted and burnt out, your ability to quote self-care is also low. If you have financial difficulties, self-care, pretty difficult. If you simply don't have time or space, self-care, also difficult. When we are talking about the way we do programming at Umbrella Alliance US, we are talking about community care. And that is exactly what it sounds like. That means that we have built a community so that when you need care, even if you are not someone who feels comfortable reaching out, even if you are not someone who can articulate or verbalize what they need, there are community members who will provide you care, who will notice you, who will hear you, who will send you a card, buy you a coffee, help you with your resume, whatever it is you need. If you need interviewing skills, community care is a lot more than self-care, because to be honest, for those of us who live in a perpetual state of overwork and burnout and then have marginalized identities on top of it, we don't have time or the resources for self-care. We just don't. And that is why it's so important to have that community piece here. And I wanted AJ, I'm hoping you can offer your thoughts on this. I'm kind of surprising you with this question, but community care is really vital to me. And I know that we've discussed it quite a bit, so I'd like to hand it back over to you.
All right. You want to get me in trouble, don't you, Sarah? I actually have a
good trouble.
Good trouble, yes. I have a saying that I have made multiple times, and I'm gonna say it out loud. Self-care is BS. It is. It is a capitalist idea to make money. And it shames people into believing that they're not good enough and that they don't deserve to be cared for. I hate the term self-care. It makes me angry. It makes me so angry when I hear this term. I myself I am an extremely privileged person. First of all, let me say that. I also come from a background where I was homeless as a child. And I have been a single parent. I am still privileged, and I was still privileged in every one of those areas. However, something that I understand is the shame that happens when my brother makes a comment like, I won't date a girl who doesn't paint her toenails because if she doesn't paint her toenails, she doesn't care about herself. What? First of all, let's just push that gender stuff to the side. That is absolutely not true. And that is a message that I got at a very young age that made me start going, wait a minute, wait a minute. It's not about how much money you can spend. Your worth is not about how much money you can spend. The community has a responsibility to take care of every single one of its members. And that's what Umbrella Alliance US is about. It's community care. It is Emily and Amelia Nagoski's conversation about burnout and how self-care is not the answer. Community care is the answer. And yes, I'm plugging that book for the Nagoski sisters because it's amazing and it's a great book. LinkedIn needs an enraged button. Somebody just said, yeah. I hope I answered your question. I could go on and on about this for days. This is definitely a passion point for me.
Okay. Ben, did you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, I was about to say community care is extremely important. I myself have been that child who was told that it was selfish to think about yourself. I was that child who was told people would see me as toxic if I shared my true emotions with people. And I was that person who couldn't even share my true feelings with my family because I would be seen as overdramatic or I'd be punished or told how ungrateful I was. But the thing about that is if we're not able to share how we truly feel about something, then it's going to be really difficult to be able to get the support we need. And there are probably many hundreds of children who go through similar experiences who do not get that support they need because of this gaslighting that we might have encountered in childhood, or being told that self-care was selfish, or being told it was harmful to other people, or you'd be a burden on other people if you reached out. But at Umbrella Alliance, we want to provide that space so people can engage with their community in healing and in supporting them throughout their day-to-day lives. We want to provide a platform and space for people to get that support they need and to provide a resource for people to come to if they need anything or if they need someone to talk to. So we hope and aim to create an open platform where we can discuss difficult topics, where we can support people through difficult times. So we want to send the message that it's okay to reach out. It's okay to talk with others in our community about shared traumas, about shared grievances, about shared experiences. And it doesn't make us toxic. Instead, it makes us human. And it's important to embrace our humanity and to embrace our actual feelings and our true feelings. So we want to provide a space where we can see each other as human beings. We can interact with each other as human beings instead of wearing that mask, instead of hiding our true emotions. So we hope to provide a space where people can feel comfortable coming to us with very real concerns or very real issues that they want to solve within their community.
And I want to comment that it is imposter syndrome. We don't ask for what we want and need because we don't believe we're worthy of it. That's allowing someone else to tell our story. As Ben so rightly pointed out, neurodivergent people are a part of humanity, not an afterthought. not a damaged piece that needs to be fixed, simply another expression of what humanity is. So my message to everyone on this call and everyone who watches it later before we start to wrap up here is this. This organization exists because you deserve it. As a neurodivergent human being, you deserve everything that a neurotypical human being has and more. Because every single thing you do to thrive, to achieve, to grow is an act of revolution. And I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank you for being part of our community. To wrap up, I would love to hear from AJ and Ben. Sort of short answer, what are some hopes and goals you have for this next year? And what are you looking forward to?
Ben, take it away.
Thank you. So for my goal, one of my goals is to really kickstart the self-advocacy survival guide and to be able to reach out to the community and to get different stories, different anecdotes, and also different research and different perspectives on how we can best support the neurodivergent community in their self-advocacy journey. I'm also hoping to get a few panels up and running. We currently have one scheduled for August 24th around grief, and we have one scheduled for the last Thursday in September, and that's going to be around boundaries. So I'm hoping to continue and start kicking off these live panel sessions so we can hear a diverse range of perspectives and voices on these important issues and topics.
I second that. Absolutely. This is it's a beautiful work in progress that has been happening, and it's so exciting to see it come together. To have just to be able to see the whole thing mapped out in front of us and know where it's going. So I'm excited about that, and goals around that is really getting a team together, a really strong team of people who are passionate and want to share in the creation of that. That is, I think my goals tend to come around people. It's to create relationships with people where we get to work together in a way that is empowering and affirming to each individual person, where everybody feels valued and the work is purposeful and meaningful, and it's not never feels like being used or abused, like it does so often. So that's a big goal for me. Another big goal for me is really getting the board fully established. Sarah, you're working really, really hard and diligently on that. I would love to hear from community members on who they would like to have representing them on our board, and to really get that board completely filled out with board members who share the love and the passion within the community, and who are NDs and who are queer, trans, and BIPOC NDs. We don't want to have a board of all white people. We don't want to have a board of all men or all women or all anything. We want a strong board that is really representative of our community as a whole. So that is very important to me. And the third thing I am very excited is to really start having some conversations about economic security, what that really means and how it's different from poverty, and how it has affected us as a community, and why COVID had such a huge impact on our community because of that. So those are a few of my excitement and goals.
I'll add mine in. I concur on the board. That is my primary focus right now. So we'll be conducting a board raiser over a month's long period, and it will conclude at the end of September. I will take any and all ideas, applications. Watch for that initiative to begin. I will caution you to understand that a founding board is a bit of a lift. I will also let you know that I practice really good board hygiene. So it may be a lift, but it's not an intrusive and invasive one. The other thing I will say before AJ sends us off on our merry way this evening is that my goal ultimately is that ND folks are simply not marginalized anymore. Because the way that we stop being marginalized is to insist on other people moving the margins. Why do there have to be margins at all? So I want to thank everyone for your attention. I want to thank you for being here. And for those of you watching in the future, I'd be glad to hear from you as well. So AJ, take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We look forward to seeing you again this time next month. Again, please share in comments. It doesn't matter whether it's today while it's live or if it's 3 months from now. We want to hear from you. Contact us. Let us know what you are wanting, how we can serve you, because that's what we are here for. We are here to serve ourselves as NDs and also serve every single member of the ND community and the community as a whole.
Thank you, everyone, and good evening.